Okay, so this is what's happening. I pushed the go live button and I'm immediately experiencing so much regret because I realized that I absolutely did not premeditate this. Like, I just thought of it. It's like, wait a second, would I like to be a kid in this decade? And then I answered my own question, and then I'm like, yeah, let's dream about it. And like I said, I have so much regret because I did not premeditate this. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I feel miserable. And when I'm miserable, I don't think right. So now I just want to end the stream and just completely bail out on it. But I'm here, so I feel like I'm committed to it. So just hear me out, and hopefully I'll say something productive or something that makes sense because I did not meditate on this. So, anyways, do it with confidence, Zam, like everything you do. Would I be a kid in this decade? Hell no. And this is why. I just look at the adults that surround me, those who are my age, those who are a little older, those who are maybe a year or two younger than me, those who I work with, those who have worked where I work at forever, those who have their families, and those who don't, or those who are in the process of starting it. And I see so much stress, so much uncertainty, so much anxiety on them. So, kids, of course, pick up on that and they manifest their stress, their worries, their neglect. Like, if they're victims of neglect, it shows in their behavior. So I feel like with the way life is nowadays and all the uncertainty that surrounds us in society, like it seems like every year inflation just doesn't see an end. Benefits keep being taken away, stress levels keep going up. So if I was a child, I feel like what adults are going through just would engulf me. And I feel like I would be a pretty miserable, stressed out kid. And if I had my moments during my childhood when, because of the stresses of the folks in my family, I was like, um, I had daunting experiences, just what would it be now that stuff has gotten worse, actually? So when I think about it, adults are disconnected and distracted. There's so much entertainment, values are changing, and so many distractions. It's really hard to focus. I'm someone who is not known for having focus issues. And at my job, I've been telling some of my colleagues, I don't know what's happening, but I'm having trouble focusing. I'm having trouble counting. I'm having trouble remembering details. I'm having trouble, like, if I see a situation unfolding, get to action before it gets worse, Like, my initial response to things is delayed. The only time I don't see myself suffering too much is when I'm driving. Because on my way to work this morning, I came really, really close from crashing onto someone who I had no way of anticipating that they were going to start merging right as I was, you know, transiting down my lane and they had to wait for me, given that I have right of way, to pass them. But no, they started like they gave zero fucks. There is like a hump to the entrance, so they have to slow down for their car to roll over that hump. So I had to whoop, invade the middle lane and then, pass them. And I'm like, I made it. I'm alive. I did not crash. I don't have to worry about insurance. I'm not hurt. I avoided disaster. So at work, of course, it's nothing that extreme. But if I observe a situation, it's like I need to get to it and, take action so that I can deliver a good service, as a representative of the company, just deliver good service. Um, but back to being a kid, I feel like your experience growing up would be so much different. My mom used to tell me that she was used to seeing people playing outside. And when I think about it, it's the weekend and I don't hear kids playing outside. You know, the weather's considerably nice. Maybe it's because it's starting to be late, but it is not uncommon for there to not be that many kids out here. And there is a lot of kids here because I see the bus and I see them being dropped off. So it's not like this is an old people, neighborhood or something. But I feel like the entertainment of children has changed so much and it's really focused on computers and those kinds of distractions. I almost think exist because parents don't know how to parent, so they're trying for their kids to be taken care of in a different way. So it's just weird to me because I'm used to being hands on the things that I do. Like, yes, I did play a lot of video games, I'm not gonna lie, but I still did my things with my hands. Like, I would doodle things and I would try to help my mom with chores and everything. So to me, it's just weird that this day and age, the way that kids grow and learn and all that is just, I did forget about that. Anyways, um, but yeah, you guys, I feel like there's this disconnect, and it would be very scary for me to think about it. Think about the fact that just because I was born a few decades earlier, it made a difference on me. And, I'm a 90s kid, but I feel like the 90s still had its good stuff going on when it comes to child development. So now, when I was finishing high school, almost everything was transferring to computers. And I don't want to just sit here and say that computers are this evil thing and that everything about them is bad. No, it's just that I feel like it's important to retain some things in the old fashioned way. Like, it's still good to understand how to solve a math problem by hand. Like, if you have an equation, don't just have a calculator that you can punch in the info and it generates the answer for you. Try to understand how you got to answering that question. What did it take? How did you solve for X or Y? Most people in my class, they wouldn't know that. You know, if they could plug it into the calculator, they just didn't know what to do. So I value the experience that I had in school because although it was shifting to a more automated experience, a more computerized experience, I was still able to learn the basics, and my teachers would encourage me to actually learn the method first and not rely so much on the calculator. But on the last few years, because of the political nature of school, which is you have to have good numbers, you have to have your kids passing. If your kids flunk an exam, that looks bad on you as a teacher. In my earlier school years, it wasn't really like that. It was more about if a student is not doing well, how can we get them to get the proper tutoring, the proper support to make it? So, so yeah, you guys, when I think about that, I think it's really frightening. And I feel like my time of being a kid was perfect. Everything seemed to be balanced. Television time had a balance. Computer time had a balance. My time to be outside and playing had a balance. My time to be crafty and say spending time with my family was also balanced. This decade, I see many parents and I see a lot of young parents. And I'm like, me as a young person, I think I was disciplined. I think I had good beginnings, but not even I am ready to be a mother. And from what I hear, people really believe in my potential to be a good mother. And then when I meditate on it, I can see why they would say that. I take things seriously. I play no games. I cannot be someone who is irresponsible. I cannot be someone who treats a child like a pet. No, it's another it's it's a adult human in training. That's how I look at them. So I cannot just treat that lightly. So when I see these young parents who rely too much on handing their phone to their kids to keep them entertained so that they can do their grocery shopping, it's like, what? I mean, you teach kids to behave, you teach them that discipline, but it's very difficult for you to be a parent who can invest that type of time on their kids when you're working two jobs endlessly, making very little money, and then your kids end up being babysat, and of course the babysitter is not properly trained to raise your child because you're supposed to raise your child, you know. So at least during the time I was born, my mother was able to be there for me, and she also happened to be a teacher. She knew how to deal with kids, but not everyone has that privilege. I call it a privilege because honestly, if my life would have been any different during my upbringing, I can just tell that I wouldn't be the person I am today had it not been for those experiences. And you know, some experiences sucked, but they were so important to who I am. And although some things about my current life, especially my personal life, I wish I could change, it's like I feel incredibly satisfied about how I have developed and the rate of progression in my life, you know? I don't have anything that I regret. I don't have everything that I want, but at least I know how to just be patient and really stay focused. Like set a goal that's realistic to accomplish and then work for it. And it's not always easy. Like mentally, it takes a toll on you. But at least I don't feel like I'm entitled. I don't feel like I'm a brat. And I feel like modern kids do have a little bit of a bratty behavior. Because I'm like, it's okay, kid. You know, you ain't going to always have your way. Don't try to psychologically uh, manipulate your parent. And what's crazy to me is that because of what I just expressed about parents not being able to be devoted to their kids end up taking control of the parents. I have seen this. And I'm like, no, you have to enforce some rules. You have to discipline. You have the authority. Don't let your kid have the definite say. It's like if your kid is whining about wanting ice cream and you cannot afford it, you'll still buy it. It's like, no, you need to teach them that they cannot always have everything immediately the moment that they want it, how they want it. You know, that's why even though I don't get things my way currently, I'm fine because my mother put me through that. She was like, I know you want this toy. I know you love it. I see it and I would love to get it to you. But realistically, right now is not a good time. But I promise you, I'll come back to you with it. And she would. That's another important thing. My mother never broke a promise to me. So she believed in every single one of my dreams. And to this day, she still supports my dream. Like, I have an incredibly crazy plan that I'm working on that I never thought I would. And she's like, how can I help you? How can I help you get there? You know, if you need money, you know, let's save it. Let's reunite it. And I'm like, wow, my mom just really impresses me when it comes to supporting me and my dreams. For her, no dream of mine cannot be accomplished. She's like, if you want to be a rocket builder, you go build that rocket, girl. You know, you got what it takes. Just do what you need to do to get there. She doesn't try to talk me down, talk me out of that. You know, parents these days, I hear them not really acknowledging the dreams that their kids have. Like they see it as ridiculous. And I often feel like some parents want for their kids to accomplish the goals that they themselves could not accomplish when they were younger. And I think that's wrong. I think every kid should be respected for what they individually want. And that's why I can say that my mom is excellent at that. If I were to tell her I want to be, I don't know, a model, an actress, she would be right there telling me, girl, you can do it. You got the body for it. You got the personality for it. You know, you go for it. It's me getting in my own way oftentimes that makes me not, you know, take any action. But But yeah, you guys, for those reasons, I think I'm very grateful that I'm a kid, um, or excuse me, that I was a kid in the decade that I was in, because what can I say? Stuff was changing leading up to where we are presently, but at least I can say that I did not feel neglected or avoided or like I was a burden for my mother. And she never avoided her motherly duties. Quite the contrary, she was there even when it seemed impossible for her to just multitask. You know, she had two kids. How can she handle both of us at the same time? um, Both of us with different needs. And my brother is 5 years older than me, and you know he's a guy, of course, and I'm a girl. So our needs and development and mentalities are going to be different. Our personalities are going to be different. But she handled it, and that's why I'm like, wow, better than my mom to start teaching me and training me or giving me parenting tips for the future when my time comes, you know. But sometimes I think about it and I'm like, I do want kids, but is it right to bring them to this world during these times? And I'm like, well, I have a right to be a mother if I want to be, but at the same time, I have to think carefully that, you know, that my own personal goal of just wanting to be a mom just may not really be convenient. And I just don't want my kids to suffer unnecessarily, if that makes sense. So I would need to consider how I can handle all the facts about life, like the way politics are, the way, you know, my personal earnings. You know, I cannot be making my current salary forever if I have these dreams and goals to accomplish, you know, little things like that. And I would also need to know on what page my boyfriend or husband or whatever I have is, you know, because I really think that it's important for kids to experience both parents being equally invested. And is it possible to be a single mother and make it? Yes, my mom did it. She's a great example. But it's not ideal. There are consequences. I suffered some of those and I was able to get over it because I just I just did, you know, growing up there comes like this maturity associated with it, and I think that's the stage that I'm in. I'm just looking back, processing some things, and I'm like, all right, so this is why that happened and this is why that result took place, you know. um, it's really important to go back and reflect but be honest about it, and just don't hate your origin if it's a terrible one. Just move on from it, learn your lessons, move on from it. So yeah, you guys, I think that's pretty much it. That covers everything. And I know you guys have been posting and I just am not focusing. So let me catch up with you. I'm a 90s kid forever. You go. Yes, I'm right. I don't envy kids in this day and age. At least us 90s kid had the false hope that we did slightly before the world went into hell, or maybe I'm just thinking that out of nostalgia. Hard to tell. Yeah, there's some stuff that I definitely miss about the early 2000s, for example, or the late 90s. And freaking phone from hell, you're lagging and you're distracting me. Fuck you. This decade, very different. You will be a good mother. Thanks a lot. That means the world to me. Outside was like a video game to me in the 90s. I played both outside and video games, but mostly outside. I was more of an indoor girl because, to tell you the truth, I didn't have that many neighbors that I was tight like that with. And I was also just not very physical, not very athletic. I could not ride a skateboard to save my life, and I have always wanted to. I could not skate either to save my life, and I really had wanted to. My cousins could do it, and I thought they looked so cool doing it. But as soon as I put on those boot shoes with wheels on it, I was too scared. Um, and then some people just knew how to play, you know, like basketball. It's like they all had an innate ability to do that. And I was a good shooter. Like I could shoot from almost anywhere in the court, except, you know, like as I got older and I got bigger and got stronger, you know, my possibility to shoot from farther away increased. And in high school, I could shoot from any point in the court. So now that I'm stronger, I'm pretty sure that if I get my coordination right, I could shoot again. But it's just crazy. I never would have thought that I would become this physically capable like I am now. Like lift like crazy. Like I never thought I would I would be in the gym, committed and have this sort of shape. I'm satisfied, it's nothing too crazy, but I'm definitely a better version of myself now than I was a couple years ago before I got started. So that makes me proud. I'm not used to be being able to accomplish much physically. So when I go up the stairs with, say, two laundry baskets and then a backpack and stack stuff on top of it, and I don't lose my balance, to me that's impressive because I'm lifting probably 60 pounds and I'm going up some stairs and I don't feel sore. To me, that's unbelievable. But, anyways, yeah, I just wasn't a physical kid. So that's a little bit of a thing that I can say that I regret from my past, that I just did not dare to take risks physically. I was always afraid of breaking a bone or something. But looking back, I'm glad that I played it safe because now I can say that I'm healthy and I can do things safely and I don't take unnecessary risks. Whereas a lot of kids I knew had broken bones already and they keep going back to the doctor for that. And I'm like, yeah, given how the um, what is it, health industry is in this country, I could not realistically afford to be following up on old wounds. So, anyways. Hey Zams, hope you're having a good weekend. It's decent, all right. You know, it'll get better, I'm sure. Things do seem a lot more chaotic these days. The omnipresence of distraction, entertainment, instant gratification is great on paper, but it puts a lot more on the heads of kids that we had. Yeah, marketing. Don't even get me started on marketing. That is the absolute mind control of the modern world. And I mean, I'm not saying that stuff decades ago was perfect. Like, we cannot say that these problems did not exist back then. It's just that because we have access to so much information at our own convenience, it's like maybe the world is being painted as worse than it really is, but we are believing that it's really that terrible and that we end up compromising ourselves on the mental and emotional department. Because sometimes when I go out there and I talk to people, I'm like, you're an old ass person, but you do not act like a radical person, you know? So most old people who I encounter are pretty decent and sweet and nice. And I'm like, wow, in social media, for example, you are portrayed as you're the root of all evil, you know? So that reminds me that whatever I see online is not indicative of what everybody thinks. And that's where the tricky part is. We may forget that. For instance, when I get on Facebook, people who I have known for a long time, they post some crazy stuff, and I'm like, wow, I look at you and I don't recognize you. And then I'm like, ah, yes, that is not indicative of who you are. Because if you post some kind of picture, you're probably posing for it. That's not really how your life is constantly, 24/7. So, sometimes people ask me, why are you so serious looking? And I'm like, this is the only face I got. So if you if you have problems with the way my face looks, you need to reconsider some things, reevaluate yourself because realistically, I cannot have a smile on my face all the time. It just changes. Sometimes I'm focused, sometimes I'm in pain, sometimes I'm just tired and I just want to drop dead in my bed and not wake up for a week, you know? So so because in my channel I present myself as someone who's like upbeat and all that, that's pretty consistent with how I am regularly, but realistically, this is not how I will look and sound all the time. You do not want to see me immediately when I get up from bed. I look like a zombie. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a great day today. Let me get up, get fixed, and go about it, you know? So that's what I'm saying, guys. Whatever you do, please try to be down to earth. Please try to not have unrealistic expectations. Like earlier, I was telling someone about the holiday season and how people's expectations are just too unrealistic. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I cannot feel the tragedy of you not finding your Christmas tree in your desired size because that mess is just not important. You cannot convince me that having a Christmas tree in your living room is important. So maybe that means I'm a cold and terrible person, but I just keep it real. What's important to me is to be fed, have my bills paid, my car having gas, and having my shelter, like my home. To me, that's important. If I don't find that, if I don't find food, I'm gonna lose my shit. You know, that's important. But, just wanting a specific item, a specific something, and you want to attach emotional value to it for the sake of a memory, there's more to life than that. And that's just me. I'm not saying my values have to be your values. I'm just saying that I know how to live a very simplistic and happy life. And if I suspect that you're trying to implement your values into me to change my mind and thus complicate my life, I just cannot, we cannot be together and click and connect and be tight. So maybe that's the reason I end up alienating some people. But I mean, that's just who I am. I respect them for how they are. If they don't respect me for how I am, that's not my fault. So that's another thing that worries me about today's kids. I feel like they may be either lonelier or they may trust people too easily and they do not develop true social skills, like make long lasting, meaningful connections. So I would like to see what socializing is like in modern days, especially in school, especially with kids taking their cell phones and doing God knows what in them. See what I mean? So when I was a kid, I would occasionally take my Game Boy to school, even though I would know I wouldn't use it. But sometimes my mom would say that we would need to go to the bank after school, and I'm like, the bank sometimes takes centuries, so I at least will take my Game Boy with me so that when we're there, I can entertain myself, because else I'm just too hyper, you know? So, anyways, you guys, just starting to ramble now, but yeah. I'm blessed. I have 8 brothers to learn from and so much love and fun. Some parents have one kid, nothing wrong with that. It's important a kid don't be a follower of the world. You know what? When it comes to having kids, I felt like I could only handle having one child. But then when I think about it, I'm like, I would not like for my child to just be alone like that. I think sibling connections can be a great thing. I am not going to lie to you guys. I do not have a strong bond with any of my brothers. I'm the only princess of 4 and the youngest, and I'm not close with any of them. And quite frankly, I do wish I was close with them, but at the same time, we're different. We're too different. We're not compatible. So we should not be forcing each other's presence on each other if we just don't belong. See what I mean? If nothing positive will come out of that. So to have an only child would be particularly challenging because as a parent, I feel like I need to be there for my child constantly to not risk them having a void, an emotional void. See what I mean? Like if they have a sibling, it's like you have someone who's close to your age with your same attention span, with your same interests, with your same energy, and you're hanging out with each other. As a parent, I'm going to be older. My humor is not going to be the same. My patience is not going to be the same. I'm not going to be into playing games like they play games. And did I mention my energy already? Like, I'm getting older, so I'm definitely not going to be as flexible. And that is going to affect the way that my child perceives their free time. So I think having another sibling they would help each other, period. So ideally, my number now to have kids would be two, and of course having a boy and a girl, because I think it would grant me the experience of raising both kinds of individuals. But at the same time, sometimes I think that I could not handle two kids. But then when I think about it, I'm like, no one is born being good at everything. So once I get the experience and find myself in the situation, that motherly instinct is going to do its wonderful things. And I am also someone who likes to accept help and advice and support. So I feel like that will facilitate my parenting experience. But at the same time, you have this little pride of I want to be independent and know how to handle this on my own. But, you know, um, I'm not going to put myself through something that I feel I cannot handle responsibly. And that's why there ain't no kids in this house except for the cat. So even this kitten is proving to me what I just said about my energy and patience not being the same. Because I love hyper and playful cats and pets, but this kitty is like, oh, you arrived at a terrible time. Let's see. Be a rocket builder. I'll consider it. Your mother is amazing. What do you want to be, Zam? Ideally, I would like to be an independent journalist. I made a video about this like a year ago. I think it's called My Ideal Job, My Ideal Career, or something. If you're interested in what I had to say back then. Really, it's fine, Zamri. I know people are different. I wish I knew you back in the day. I miss outside of the 90s. I came by for Dusty. Well, you shall see some Dusty action soon. He is not dustifying the place right now because I'm pretty sure he's hanging out with mom, which thank you, Lord, because on the weekdays when my mom is not here and I start streaming, there's just no way I can be by myself. So, but anyways, yes, phones are super different. They are completely detached from reality. Exactly. Reality detachment is one of those things that I just absolutely fear. Yes, one child is a blessing. I probably have so many children I don't know about sperm donor. I love you so much, Horribad Gamer. You always say some fun comments. But if you are a donor, then good for you and your contribution to humanity for those of us who may struggle in that department. True, God made all people different. My cousin broke her first child. Now she has another. Maybe she'll do a better job second time around, but my hopes aren't high. Nice journalism is a good choice. It's rare to find a real journalist these days. Yeah, I guess what I love is just storytelling. That's why I'm just so incredibly grateful that this YouTube thing exists to where I can just sit here and tell stories because I feel that I would love to go back and have my grandparents alive and them telling me stories. So now I ask my mom sometimes, what do you remember about your grandparents? What was the most important lesson that you learned from them? People who just aren't here with us anymore. I wish that they had an opportunity to tell their story. And I guess my journalistic approach is more of a focusing on personal experiences more than political ones or financial ones. I am just not qualified to give anyone advice on finances or politics. And, there's some matters that I have pretty messed up opinions on, I think. But I just love to talk to people. But at the same time, at my own pace in my own space. It's not like say that I became the next big star or something, and I was at a on a stage of some sort talking to a sea of people. I am not making eye contact. I am not answering personal questions. And I just absolutely um, cannot have you within reach. Like, what I mean by that is I can do maybe a group of 5 people, but if that number just keeps increasing, the stress becomes real. And I also feel like I feel people's pressure of their expectations of me. Like, come on, Zamri, tell us a joke. You're funny. Or, come on, Zamri, you're athletic. Do something crazy for us. And I'm like, I'm just a girl. You're expecting too much from me. So I could not handle doing a public presentation like that. It's just not in me. And I'm not saying I will never do this because I am always open for new experiences, but honestly, um, what I do here is perfect for me. I'm by myself. You guys are present. But if I were uncomfortable with something that you guys say, all I have to do is pretend that you are not there. you know, no pressure. Let's see. We all love you, Zamri. Your videos are epic. Thanks so much. Yes, I want to learn more about my grandparents' stories too. Tell us your messed up opinions. I will consider it. They are written down in my clipboard. Basically, the best way to put it is I believe that I have very close minded opinions on some things. And the more I speak to people who do not think like me on the matter, the worse I get. Like, I want to defend my point so badly, but take badly literally there because I do pitifully defend my point. But you'll get around to it. Like, it'll be one of those videos that the comment section is probably going to be like, wow, Zam, it's kind of shocking. This is not how you sound like. Why do you sound so resentful about something or someone? And I'm like, I'm not. I'm chill. It's just that some things I just cannot wrap my brain around because I feel like my intellect is being insulted. So, that's it. But I promise you, they will come. I just need to get my life together and have more vlogging, streaming time. You guys are seeing that I go days and sometimes I miss a stream, and I'm like, come on, I have so much to say, so much to do, but I just realistically do not have the time with the crazy ass schedule that I have. So, but anyways, let's see. Hi, Zam. I love you. Thanks so much, Hadley. And today's youth is messed up in the head. They talk about eating booty like it's something new, and school shootings are borderline trending sad. Exactly. Yeah, we have another shooting that took place. That is just insane to me because when I was younger, I do not remember feeling unsafe at my school. And now it's like you just never know where you're at and something tragic like this can happen. So, like I said, the political aspect presently is something that worries me about kids and me bringing my own kids to the world. This stuff is important. We gotta think about this. We gotta consider this. What is our contingency plan, and how do we teach our children why this stuff happens, how we are addressing it, the steps to like resolve it, and right versus wrong. I can be really invested in my home, teaching my child about good ethics and morals, and then they go off to school and they hang out with the wrong crowd that I very much warned them about, and inevitably they will be influenced. So I could consider homeschooling, but I don't want to deprive my kids of their ability to make friends, you know? So yeah, it's complicated. It's pretty complicated. Let's see, where did I go? You're accidentally pretty. Thanks a lot. You are welcome, Henry. The best way to put it is you look exactly like how I envisioned my wife. uh, Shocking. Zam is the best Zam. Yeah, I love people who are blunt and honest. So that's how I try to present myself, because if you knew me personally, there is no topic that makes me uncomfortable unless it's a personal topic. Like there is some stuff that I have kept to myself that absolutely nobody knows about. And it's nothing bad. Like there's no cadaver or anything. It's just that there's stuff about me personally that I just, keep personal. So, but anyways, eventually I feel like I'll break and I'll share with you guys, because I just cannot ignore a human being like that. I don't want for you guys to just not have answers to questions. I like answering questions. So, anyways, Zamri, you look like a past lover of mine named Soledad. Soledad? 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 Keep trying, Zam. You're you're failing at this. Ah, Soledad. Wait, is that a joke? I feel like I feel like that sounds like solitude. It starts with SOL, which is solo. So are you trying to say that I remind you of you being single? Confirm or deny? The reason I say that is because I am so terrible at picking up, what's the term for jokes that aren't literal? Anyways, yeah, so I'm trying to be good at it. Zam, do you do any online gaming? And if so, what is your current jam? I do not do any online gaming. The closest thing to playing games online that I do is what app do I have? Shoot, I don't even know. I know that I played Unblock Me. That was an awesome puzzle that everyone around me just couldn't figure out, but once I showed them, they just knew. But yeah, I just don't play games. You know what I'm saying? I'm a person who's serious and legit. I don't play no games. What you see about me is what you get. Ain't got time for games. I'm too old for that. Just messing with you guys. But I will someday have some kind of gaming stream. I just need to have the equipment and the games and the time and the motivation. I'm just not a gamer anymore. Had you guys known me at age 14, 15, 16, 17, yeah, I had issues. I had issues. Let's see. That teens are not safe and too many people having fear and hate nowadays. Today's generation doesn't see just right and wrong. They see right, wrong, and feel good right, which is usually wrong. I know what you mean. I think I missed the topic. Zamri is cute. I'm laughing cute. Yeah, I'm rambling at this point based on what people are saying in the comments. But my point has been made across, but some of you guys are posting things that made me stack up to what I was saying. But yeah, at this point, you guys are pretty much running the show, and I'm just standing here and being pretty. That's not a joke. Her name was Soledad. She's long passed away, and you said her name was Soledad. All right. Yeah, sorry, I didn't make a joke out of that. It's just that I really do not get people's, not even sarcasm. Sometimes I don't even get sarcasm. So I'll beat you in chess. Oh, absolutely. You will destroy me. You will own me. You will obliterate me. You will annihilate me. You will kill me. Yeah, you got me. I've never played chess. Never. Games are serious business. She is so cute and sassy. Yeah, like every girl, at least every girl, I don't know about guys, but every girl has her moment in the day when she just has to have this sass to her, because, life can get like so complicated, and like you just have to take a second to like not take it so seriously. And like, yeah, like that's exactly why I'm like here. And sometimes I be trolling you guys in the comments, and like, yeah, you guys did not see that coming, and then you guys get shocked, and you're like, oh, Zam, I didn't know this side of you, and I'm like, there's a lot of me that you don't know about. So yeah, just yeah. Rocket League makes me angry, but I love that game. Yes, you're right. I got in late, Zam. Don't you worry, my disciple. I shall return. and you shall catch me in the beginning. I ain't going nowhere. Did you just say you are 30? Nah, but what if I was 30? She can't be 30. Oh, absolutely not. Like, I hope that I am much better than this at age 30. Because if I stay like this, there's something, yeah, nah. I'm doing life wrong if I stay like this. Um, oh, okay. All the women around my age are bitter. You know what? I focus in being better and not bitter. How about that? Well, guys, happy Saturday, Zamri. Thanks a lot. Happy Saturday to you too. I believe that I have rambled enough, and you guys get the point if you arrived at my stream early enough. And if you didn't, don't worry. There's this wonderful thing called playback that you can do. So, anyways, I enjoyed myself. I feel a whole lot better now. Getting that opinion like out of my chest. It's like at least you guys see where I'm coming from. You guys experience this or witness this yourself, and I'm glad because it's not that I'm not confident enough to have my own opinion and voice it. It's just that I like for people to relate to me. This world is just big and scary sometimes, so it's good to be somewhere where I can just express myself, put myself out there, and end up embracing myself even better, and also learning from you guys because you guys teach me so much. You have no idea. Um, Stay for an extra 3 hours. I would, but unfortunately, there is stuff that I should be getting into, like eating. And I also am trying to. Oh, I don't have time because they close at 9. I've been trying to buy coconut milk for 5 days now. I just absolutely forgot after work. And now the grocery store that I need to get to, it takes me about 12 minutes to get to, and they close in 10 minutes. So, yeah, realistically, I don't have time, but there's always tomorrow. Let me see. What else did you guys say? Beautiful. Age don't matter. How you look, memory, you're beautiful. Thanks so much. For the late comers. Can't wait to watch Grandma's Emery vids. Oh my goodness! I have thought about that. I have thought about me in my 30s and then my 40s if I'm still doing this. I'm gonna be like, I so miss my 20s skin. I so miss my 20s bones, teeth, vision, hair, and my skin not being so like scaly and everything. And yeah, I'm going to have a midlife crisis, you guys, and you guys are totally going to see that because it's totally going to be on video. It's coming. You just wait for it. Give me another 15 to 20 years. I promise you. I'll take care of myself to be alive, very much alive, to present that to you guys. So, you guys, make sure that you take care of yourself as well so that you can be here. And yeah, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to be epic and hilarious. The way you play with your hair, the way you play with your hair, girl, you are a heartbreak. I'm sorry. My mom was telling me that I should stop doing that. And I'm like, nah, mom, let me be me. If I'm not a professional, if I didn't go to college, if I don't have a real serious job, it's because I cannot handle it. Let me be myself. I'm in my house, I'm in my room, I'm venting to you. Let me be myself. Let me have life. When I'm at work, I cannot touch any part of my body because I work with food. So, let me not be stressed out in my house, okay? You know? So, anyways, let me see. If I am still alive, hurry, bad. You have to be alive because otherwise, the experience will be different. I need you in my streaming life. Put it that way. Um, Hello, Zamri. Hey, Jimmy. You arrive at the conclusion, dude. Sorry. That was messed up. I love you. Talk to you later. X. You are welcome. I'm 28. People still look at me as if I'm 15 years old. I keep getting told that I'm like 18 or something, and I'm like, nah. Like sometimes when I smile, it takes a minute for that to go away. You know, I'm past my teens. You just need to believe me. I just absolutely do not act like I'm beyond my teen years, but yeah, there's some gray hairs of wisdom around here. You just trust me. Just trust me. You need to 6 years old still. Oh, absolutely. It may not be as often and maybe as coherent. Nah, there is no coherence to me in 2018, but you know what I mean. We will be here in the future. Yes, you guys have to be here. Please, you're such an important part of my life now. Hey, what do you think about Germany? Honestly, I'm not well informed about Germany to have an opinion. Basically, anything out of the United States, I know any stereotype about. So, what is Germany's stereotype? Of course, I don't want to mention the Holocaust stuff, but like I know the French is all about the like baguettes and breads and all that good stuff. The Italians are the pasta and the all that good stuff. The Spanish would be what? What do they do? But anyways, the British would definitely be their tea and their freaking accent, which I have a lot of fun with. And then what else? The Netherlands. I don't know a thing about the Netherlands. The only thing I know is that lady who played Jean Grey in early 2000s X-Men, Famke Jensen, something. And then this Miss Lady who played Quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, Stephanie Justin or something. Yeah, that's all I know about the Netherlands. And then that's it. I know there's Switzerland, and I don't know a thing about it. And all I know about Switzerland is the crash of Swiss Air um, back in the 90s, I think, where some airplane just caught fire midair. That's it. And then Norway, I know that it's often the top best country to live in. Like it gets ranked like that for some reason. Finland, I know how to spell in English. I don't know anything about it. Ireland, I know that it's like Conor McGregor. That's all I know. And I guess I don't know. I hear that they definitely have a fondness for drinking. Is that true? And then Scottish people, I know they're next to England. That's all I know. Um, and then what am I missing? I feel Greece. Greek food. Their gyros, which I've never had one, and I have had so many opportunities, but I just don't know. Then there's the little piece of Russia that's considered on the European side. I don't know anything about it. Um, Come on, Zam. What other countries are there in Europe? Don't cheat. Uh, Shoot. Yeah, I cannot move out of this country. I ain't doing it. I'm going to have a terrible time. I'll get arrested so fast. Not even gonna lie. Let's see. That was fun though. I tried to go back to what I was learning in middle school and all that. So yeah, yeah. Um, Gray hair, no rainbow hair. I believe stay blessed. Germans equals good engineers. I ever been in Germany before? I've never been in Germany before. Germans equals good beer. I've heard about that, but again, I'm not a drinker, so I couldn't tell you. German BMWs and Audis and cars. Oh, yes. Oh my God. How did I forget that? Oh, there's also a supermarket that's here that's from there. Aldi. They're taking over. They're the Amazon of grocery stores, I guess. Or they're trying to become the Amazon of grocery stores. Um, let's see. Yes, good engineers, beer, and no sense of humor. Oh, goodness. Yeah, awesome. Somebody who says the truth. Oh, yeah. My original store manager, like when I got hired, the store manager that we had, she was German. Yeah. Humor. Why? Just a stereotype, probably not true. I feel like I hear German people laugh pretty often. Irish are drunkards, fighters, and good family people. I have heard that. I have heard that about the family note. Huh. Maybe I need to get a guy from freaking Ireland because they have a sense of being family oriented. Greeks are every time poor. The Scottish stereotype is angry and ginger. Oh yeah, that. I'm like, I kept thinking of red-headed people, but I wasn't saying anything about it. um, let's see. Oh God, I did something with touchscreen, and I hope that I did not hurt anybody. Greek gyros are amazing. I hear Scotland gave me a culture shock. Very casual in Scotland. Yeah, we make good cars. Love Americans too. Aldi is Trader Joe's. Yes, and they're also Lidl. 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 Right? Which shocked me. Let's see. Realistically, let me get serious for a second. I know that I said that I'm leaving, but what do I actually know about Europe in modern days? Well, of course, there's that thing of England wanting to not be in the European Union. Is that what Brexit means? Yeah, that's what Brexit means. I was asking someone about it earlier, which he had something hilarious to say about that. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but anyways. Um, and then I know that the French have, I don't know, I haven't been keeping up. All I know about Europe is partly the stuff about World War II, but I don't remember who was on whose team. Like, yeah, I just remember fragments of it. I was not very good at retaining history facts. Like, I vaguely know Independence Day in the United States, of course, July 4th. But I will be very insecure saying the year. If I had to guess, I would say it's 1776, but I would not if I if my life was dependent upon it, I would be like, "Can I get another question, please?" um, but God, why am I so ignorant? Well, because I don't go to school, of course. But yeah, if I don't know that much about Europe and we have relations with them, like trade and junk and other things, it's like I don't know anything about Asia. Asia is even worse. I always roast myself about not knowing much about Asia. And then when it comes to Africa, it is definitely not any better. Like, that's why I keep telling myself I better stay in my own country because if I go out of here, I'm going to get in trouble and so arrested. you know. Um, let's see. Brexit, yeah, the Germans against everybody. You gotta know who was on whose team in World War II, just in case you fall through a time portal and end up in the early 1940s. Well, for right now, I believe that my day is uneventful enough to where I don't have to worry about that happening. But but at the same time, I'm like, you're right. The way technology progresses these days, it's quite a scary thing. So it wouldn't surprise me that such a thing is a possibility. Europe has its own set of problems, I think maybe worse than the US. I have heard about some of that, but not really in depth. But I guess what concerns me is like their unity or something. Like, to tell you the truth, I don't really know what the United Nations are up to, but I don't know. Help a sister out, guys, because I'm struggling. You're not only gorgeous, but you're very intellectual, Zam. I'm not hating on you, but yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Your high regards, but I would be careful about using the intellectual word at me because clearly I'm like drowning in my own topic, which is not related to what this stream is supposed to be about. But yeah, I feel like dragging myself for just not knowing much about Europe. If you're gonna be a journalist, you need to brush up on your geography, history, and modern geopolitics. Exactly, and that's why I said that if I'm going to be a journalist, it's going to be more about personal stories of people, like not really um, to keep people informed on what's actually happening on the social atmosphere. It's more about stories, like people's how can I say someone's development. How did you get to where you are now in the present? Tell me about your childhood. Tell me about your relationship with your parents and friends. Tell me about your struggles. Tell me about, things like that. It's not really that I'm trying to be the reliable news source that we need in this society. Like I'm not trying to be where you come to get your news, put it that way. So, if there's a better term than just being what did I refer to it earlier? A personal journalist or something? Let me know. Let me know. I'm all for learning. If you're gonna be in general, I just read that Asia is still the same, corrupt, but ways around it to have fun. I have heard some stuff about Japan. I feel like many people treat it like it's a playground, but I enjoy some stuff about their culture, like how incredibly disciplined and just peaceful they are. Um, and also the way they treat eating. They are never eating on the go, they are all about portion control. And yeah, I've heard some good stuff. Like in the UK, they have those, crap, acid attacks on people's faces. Oh, they have attacks of that nature in other places too, like more extreme countries. The world is crazy, period, but as long as God have mercy to the world, we are blessed. Europe's biggest problem is the immigration influx. They have had open arms for so long, accepting millions of people. It's forcing the European culture to change because the immigrants aren't adapting. Right. It's like the United States has something like that as well. We could argue for hours and I would let you win. Oh, that's funny. All right, guys. I think that I have had enough now. Some stuff that you guys said I am interested in looking into. So I'll get back to you guys. That's for sure. And for those of you who catch this stream later and you survive all the way to the end, first of all, thank you. And second of all, like always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. PZM, keep thinking you're one of the good ones. Thanks a lot. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.